So check it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There we go. There we go.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Okay. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you.
Welcome.
Okay. Jordan, so who is going to manage the background noise and stuff like that? Yeah, just like, sometimes people jump on and then it'll like.
Mute them. They can mute themselves too. If you see them pop up and then get feedback.
Just mute all. Would that include me? No, that won't include me. Okay, cool. So we're still hearing me.
Yeah, it probably means everybody has to put center.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's the way to go then. All righty then. It's 11 o'clock somewhere. That's somewhere it's here in Mission Valley. Okay. Welcome y'all to Cornerstone Masterclass. Everybody tuning in online, what's up? People will be sort of flowing in here throughout, so I just want to hit a couple of things right off the bat. I may ask you to hit that mute all button again at some point. Thank you. Thank you. Operate the Mises. All right, so here's the deal. So today's theme is making the most of a tough market. And also we're going to talk a lot about List It Live today. I really want to get your feedback. We do have Brett Ward here, who is the executive producer for List It Live. There's been some confusion around who is actually responsible for the execution of List It Live. So just so everyone knows and understands, I am just the host of List It Live. I don't actually do any of the functionality of selecting the agents, doing this, the PowerPoint presentations, any of that stuff. I don't do any of that. Brett does. And so people have had questions about, how does this work? How does that work? How do I get agents on? How do I find this stuff out? So Brett's going to answer all of your questions today. Just want to do a couple things. It should be a relatively quick class before that. PhoneBurner and Jungo. Again, if you need help with PhoneBurner or Jungo, can you mute all me? I think every time someone new joins, we're going to have to hit it, unfortunately. There you go. So what's up, guys? Come on down. So PhoneBurner and Jungo. Yeah. Have seats there. So PhoneBurner and Jungo, if you need consultation on PhoneBurner, if you want to sign up for it, make sure you reach out to Jordan. If you don't have your contacts in Jungo, if you don't have that organized properly, reach out to Jordan. That's a lot of what she's doing these days is those one-on-one meetings, getting everyone organized, getting things set up so that you can be super efficient with the way that you're marketing your database and everyone in Jungo. All right, the market is tough right now. So reality check, market's tough, for sure. It will get better soon. I know we're hearing things like interest rates are going to go higher, and that's possible, but we are going to hit really the best time to sell a home in San Diego. Notice historically, you guys should know this, is what month? Anyone know the answer? April. That's right. The best time to sell a home, the highest average price per square foot across every single zip code in San Diego County is April. Now, do home sellers know that? No, probably not. But typically what happens is we start to see volume pick up in April and May. And so I expect that we'll see some volume start to pick up in April, May. So things will get better. Now, that said, remember this, in a tough market, the only thing you have control over, really in any market, the only thing you have control over is your activities. So if your activities are right, the results will be good. If your activities are not there, you will not have results. The thing you have control over is your activities. This is the psychological battle in being a loan originator, right? Because you get paid long after you've done the work to earn it. A long time after you've done the work to earn it. So if you've just been screwing off the last 2 weeks, but you have a couple deals closed, The reinforcement there psychologically is, hey, I was just screwing around. I'm closing deals. And whether you do that consciously or subconsciously, this is what happens. So the challenge is that you're always doing the correct activities. This is what you can control, and letting the results speak for themselves. What's up, Rick?
How you doing?
Great to have you, man.
Thank you.
So the point is this. When the market's tough, just make sure that the deals that you're closing 6 months from now are based on the work that you do today. And that's always going to be the case. And for people who have gotten over that hump, what has happened is they've done the activities long enough. They got past the initial psychological hurdle of, hey, I've been working hard and calling people for a month straight and haven't closed any deals yet. Keep doing the activities. You get to that point when you get over that hump, and now you will have the correct association. You'll be working hard every day and you'll be getting paid well. And then it'll be easier to continue. So in a tough market like this, if anything, ramp up your activity. If you're making 50 calls a week, make 75. Just that simple. If your conversion rate goes down, because realtors are being prospected now by realtors, that is very real. Did people notice that? Have you noticed that? Have you heard about that? Since we did the last class on eXp Realty, they are relentlessly barraging every real estate agent who produces anything every day. And it's because it's not just one agent who's trying to get them to join eXp. There's now like 200 agents in San Diego trying to get every other producing agent to join eXp. So we have that issue. So the other quick reminder I wanted to make for you here is this, and this is just a fact. While we tend to focus all of our efforts on realtors for obvious reasons, just remember that the average person in the grocery store can refer you just as many mortgages per year as the average real estate agent. The average real estate agent, now I know average real estate agent, okay? But the average real estate agent refers less than 2 mortgages a year. The average person in the grocery store probably refers less than 2 mortgages a year, okay? My point is this. If you are only asking realtors for business, then when they have cyclical movements, so will you. So you have to diversify who you are asking for business from. This is why we talk about calling the sphere. This is why we talk about other professionals, right? A good example right now is, what season are we in? I know you want to say it. What season is it? Tax season. It's tax season. So what's the good news? The good news is CPAs are all locked in their office. What's the bad news? They're busy. And guess what? When CPAs get locked in their office for 14, 16, 18-hour days, sometimes they don't leave the office. It'd be nice if somebody dropped off some snacks. It'd be nice if somebody maybe made a connection and said, hey, listen, I know you're going to be doing a lot of taxes. If somebody owes a big bill, has equity, needs to access some money, if you want to give them an option, here's some business cards. I'd love to help you out. And by the way, here's a bundt cake. I know you're hungry. Yeah, tax season survival is a great idea. Well, just get some calories in. If you know a CPA closely, like if you have a friend that's a CPA, this time of year, don't even call them. Don't call them. They will not respond. They lock themselves in their offices. They work really, really hard. And then about June, July, they start vacationing the rest of the year. And that's pretty much how the cycle works for CPAs. So the point is this. If you are only reaching out to realtors, you will be susceptible to the same cycles that they are susceptible to. Contact your sphere. Contact the people who know you just as much. Contact everyone you know and know that they can refer you just as many mortgages as the average realtor can. Now, we talk about high-producing realtors, different story. And that's part of what we're going to discuss with List It Live today is how to access and get, make connection with those people because they can refer you more business than the average person in the grocery store. Okay, so, I went through that. The only thing you control, remember your activities. Your activities are everything. If your activities are consistent, you will have consistent success. Okay, this is really, really cool. So we talked about eXp last time, right, in the last masterclass. It's going crazy. I have now set up a what we're calling the Great EXP Debate. So I have the #1 EXP agent who started it all, Bobby Martins. He's going to debate the broker for Big Block Realty, Sam Kranian. Some of you may have seen this post on my Facebook. I think it's up to like 300 comments now. People went crazy for this. So we're having this is going to be at the studio next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Now, if you want to come be in the studio, let me know. Reach out to me and let me know. It's going to be insane. We're going to have, basically it'll be a great opportunity to learn what the heck is going on, to learn some of the pros and cons. We don't have, there's no angle or edge that we're trying to pull on Bobby or Sam, either one. That's not the point. The point is that Bobby's a mega agent, former KW guy, switched to EXP. Sam is one of the more innovative brokers in San Diego with a big social audience. We're just trying to get as many real estate agents as possible to see what we're doing, right? That's what we're trying to do. So it's a big branding play for us, but it's going to be a great opportunity to learn what's going on, and something that's going to be a big buzz for probably a week or two in San Diego. So the Great EXP Debate, you're hearing about it here first. I haven't even posted the flyer yet. I've waited until after this so you could hear it first. If you want to come, email me and say, hey, I want to be there, all right? And I will save as many seats as I can. So that's next Tuesday at 2 p.m. All right, so the hottest topic, probably besides EXP Realty, is List It Live. This is the program that I call the QVC of real estate. We're offering it to real estate agents to come pitch their listings. We had no idea that it would blow up this quickly. I've never seen anything explode like this did. I mean, we did maybe 4 or 5 shows where it was quiet and we were able to get everybody in, and we were actually looking for agents to try to, fill the roster, to we got 80, 100 properties on the back burner. It literally went like just straight to that. So growth is great. It causes challenges. It makes things more difficult, but I wanted to make sure everyone understands, #1, where the show comes from, how it's created. Cornerstone is the exclusive mortgage representation for the show, but we don't own the show or produce the show. I host the show, but the show itself is produced by Brett, who's here today, to answer your questions, to talk to you about it, to give you some insight into, okay, what are we doing now that we have all these inquiries? How do agents get picked to be on the show? How can you ensure that your agents who submit their information will get picked to be on the show? How can you then use the show to not only give yourself a reason to prospect something that's unique with agents, but also how to convert those? So that's what we're going to be discussing in great detail today. So, Brett, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah. In the phone, and some good folks in here with us today. At some point, do we want to open this up for Q&A after I address some of these points?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All
If you have questions, type them in right now, and we'll get to them.
Okay, good. Hopefully everybody can hear me. This is an iPhone, so I have no idea of the speaker capabilities. That's an inside joke. I'm an Android guy, so Derek and I have been we've been having a friendly debate for several years now. God, 6, 7 maybe? Yeah. So I've been presented here with a list of questions, most of which have actually already been answered in the email that was sent out to all of you last week. So hopefully you've got that. Knowing how email is these days, knowing how we're all completely inundated, it's no surprise that, and you guys may have experienced this once or twice, you send an email to somebody and they don't actually read it, or they don't read the whole thing, right? So this happens all the time. I had a fun appointment thing that kind of went off the rails a week ago when somebody didn't read a question I had in the email. Like, I never even got down that far. So anyway, I understand if some of you didn't see this. So anyway, I love working with Cornerstone. Derek's a close personal friend of mine, as well as a business associate. We've done a lot of business together since the end of 2011, and primarily in media. And we kind of, at the beginning of this year, finally found a way that we could merge all of our platforms together. And we've been able to create a 1 + 1 = 3 effect. And because of the relationship with Derek and now Sean and your company, we've essentially closed the doors. I own an escrow company But I've closed the media doors to any of your competitors because I'm so focused on growing this relationship. We're delivering real estate agents to List It Live like crazy. And in turn, Sean in particular, and hopefully that will expand as we, I'm looking to bring you all more value and hope that we can grow each other's company together. I hunt the same prey that you do, which is real estate. So I understand the game. I understand the challenges that you all face. And for me, I always wanted to turn this, what was perceived as a commodity, escrow is a commodity. All things being equal, people will typically default to a relationship. You run into the same sorts of things. All you want to do is a meeting. He wants to give you a shot, but it's like, listen, they've been buddies, golfing buddies, this, that, and everything for how long prior to you? They've been knowing you exist. So what is it we can do to drive a wedge into that relationship to deliver more value than they're getting from their current relationship? Especially in the escrow space. My thing is like, how can I drive that wedge in there so they leave that relationship that they've had for 10 years? I've got to deliver more value and impact their bottom line. So List It Live and media in general is something we've been able to do that very effectively. My entire company was built on the back of our media platform, the entire thing. So we are the case study, the ultimate case study of how this can work and how we can capture real estate business. Right now, first quarter of this year, which as we all know, first quarter typically sucks in the real estate industry. But what we've already been able to do, the accounts we've gotten to commit and that are already starting to open escrows right now, we are going to smash every previous year we've ever had. And our March, our first quarter is crushing last year. It's still down, compared to the rest of the year, but it's crushing last year. Year over year, we're up, and way we're trending right now. But it's a direct result of List It Live more than anything else. This first quarter, we've been able to capture so much business from big producers. So I want to address the questions you've all got right now. We have experienced some growing pains, but it's been far more effective with far fewer growing pains than I would have expected. But we've got a lot, when you get 3, 4, 5, 10x the amount of response than you're expecting, that does create some challenges in scaling. We've been able to build some things specifically for you and First American Title, who are our exclusive title partners, because their reps want the same visibility that you all do in terms of, when I refer somebody, how do I know that they signed up? All of that. So in that email that you all got last week, and Derek can recirculate if you can't find it, there are links to all of the past guests, everybody who's ever been on. You can see that. And we have a link to everybody who's going to be on. So you can go on this week's guest link, and you can see exactly who's going to be on there tomorrow. All right. So some of the questions, let me go right down the line.
Before you start there, Brett, let me just say a couple things. So you mentioned a couple things. First American Title was one of them. They are using List It Live as well. If you do not work with the First American Title rep, I would highly recommend connecting with the First American Title rep in whatever area you want, whoever you know, whoever you like. I'm sure you've met or talked to some First American Title rep, because they are already going to the marketplace and sort of deploying this message. You may be able to tag team some of the people that you both want to get in front of and work with them on. They are the #1 title company in San Diego. They have the greatest market share. They have the best. You guys have worked with every title in your escrow. They have the best processing system for knocking things out of the park on the title side. But more importantly, they have the biggest army and they have the most clients. So they have them on that stuff. Also from the escrow side, for what Brett's team does, if List It Live is something that you enjoy and you want to use, I think it'd be a good idea to also partner with 5-Star Escrow. Just because, again, we're all doing the same thing now. We're all working towards the same thing. We're all sharing. Just wanted to say that because it's important, because everyone's on the same team. Everyone's trying to help everyone else, and that is a really, really good way to get big things done. So, this is obviously from an executional standpoint. I'm sure that the questions are there that you can go through, Ben, but I just want to make macro-wise to understand that, hey, we're coming to the market with a message that is being extremely well received. If we come together and bring it together, we will get a better response. We will have a better conversion from that. And that's the real key. The key is the conversion, right? We got a great response on the front end. Amazing. Now we need to convert. Convert is going to be done through relationship and follow-up. And if you can team with people who are already building relationships with the people that you're targeting and using the same message you are, you get that.
No, and that's a great point. Last night I was invited by Kathleen Haver from First American Title. She said, hey, every Tuesday, it's a realtor-only event, but they did have a lender that was speaking. So I am strategically going and looking to unseat all of your competitors in these sorts of environments. I was there, not representing 5-Star Escrow, but listed live in Real Talk San Diego. I was given a platform to talk about this in front of 25 agents last night. And then Claire, our producer, was with me, and she and Kathleen I said, listen, I want you two to become besties. And she says, I've got this presentation in front of this Berkshire Hathaway office with their entire team, next week. Would you like to go with me? So that's the power of setting up the relationships, just like Derek talked about. If these reps who are, they're the best of the best. It's an amazing team. Grant Britton, who's now the national sales manager, is a good friend of mine. I'm working with their local sales manager, Ralph Kenyon. They are so engaged and so excited about this. They have realtor relationships. They want realtor relationships. So there are two things in play there. Number one, Steve Spellerberg is their lender rep. All right, but it would make sense in the territories you work. They all work in territories, which is very unique in the title space. So have 3, 4, 5 people on a team in a given territory. They know and dominate that territory. They know every backstory, every relationship. There have been so many people that I will not call based upon the information that I've gotten from them. Oh, so-and-so has an ownership interest in a title company, or his wife is escrow company. His wife is the escrow officer. Okay, good. That's hands off. I'm not going to get that business. But getting to know them, saying, hey, I want to introduce you to my clients in your area and vice versa. They're very symbiotic in the way they work. So I would say, get to know Steve. But also get to know the reps in the markets that you really work and want to focus on. And I can help make those introductions if you'd like. If you want to hit me up and say, hey, listen, I focus on this market or a farm area, here's the team.
I tell you what I will do. I will send out the picture of the teams.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
First American. Yeah. I have it. I will send it out, but the power, and so exactly what you just said there, Brett, this is the power of partnering with a number one team that's out there, is that they're getting presentations, they're bringing all sorts of tools to the front for agents, different things, farming stuff, data stuff that we're not into, right? But it's still stuff that agents want to hear about. So they're getting these opportunities. We can piggyback those. It's a great point.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to answer these questions right here, and then I want to talk about some best practices that if you are leveraging this, I want to show you the most effective way to convert it into business, because I promise you we have found all the ways to do it wrong. I started doing the media stuff with Derek back in 2011, and our initial, what he originally told me and what we told our first group of realtors we work with, use this platform to create referral relationships. That's about it. We're very scientific in terms of how it works right now. We're talking 7 years of execution and finding out what works and what doesn't work. So quickly, it's going down the list. The questions that I was presenting here by Derek. How do we know when our guests are registered? So you've got the links, so you can go on, and it updates real time. Literally, somebody fills out the form, you can click refresh on either of those links, and you will see them on that page. Make sure they're doing it themselves. If you tell somebody about, hey, if you want to get a property on, send them the link. And again, the link is right on the List It Live Facebook page. Okay, go ahead and enter your information in here. Right, so want to be able to follow up and have clear communication? Yes. We want to know what communication they're receiving so we can be on the same page when we follow up with them. Let me explain our process. Right? What we do 2 times a week, on Tuesdays and on Fridays, we download every new listing. So on a Tuesday, I will download Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday's brand new listings between $500,000 and $4 million, or $5 million. Can't remember what that is. And we'll take that, we'll load it in our CM. There's a bunch of cross-referencing we need to do, but once we do that, we clean up that data. It executes an email. It shoots out an email automatically and invites that. It says, we may be interested in possibly. Not, we want to do your property this next week. We may be interested in possibly showcasing, and we reference their property, your new listing, on List It Live. Here's what List It Live is. We are currently getting plus or minus 80 new property submissions every single week. We have room for 12. So it's very important, and this is, I've been meeting with all of the First American reps individually and sharing with them the same thing we're about to share with you. We categorize, prioritize the people that are coming on the show in the following manner. Anybody who's doing 20 plus list size a year and or is a partner with First American and 5-Star Escrow automatically goes to the front of the line, right? So these are our existing clients that are giving us all their business, or what we deem to be the best prospects because they're doing the most business. That's priority one. Priority two is anybody, and I'm talking list size right now, is anybody who does between 11 and 19. Pretty much they're always going to get on. Anybody double digits is pretty much going to always get on. Priority 3 is between 6 and 10, and priority 4 is between 0 and 5. Very rare a priority 4 is going to get on the show because of the laws of supply and demand. So here's how we treat them. What is our communication with them? On Fridays, we determine who is, we select the top 15 based upon that criteria. We reach out to them knowing that we have room for 12. Some of those will go into escrow over the weekend, a schedule, conflict comes up. So Monday is when we typically secure that week's get. So if somebody is a 0 to 5, what we'll typically do is, anybody who we know isn't going to fit, we'll send out an email saying, sorry, we're all full. I may have a way to get you on one of the future shows. If you're interested, give me a call. Somebody who's a 0 to 5, we essentially try to draw close. And we do it in a very soft manner. And what Thomas says, Thomas Worden is the gentleman who's handling all of Listed Live, scheduling, all of that. He simply says, hey, listen, we're getting 80 plus submissions per week. We've got room for 12. Right now, most of those spots are being taken up by the sponsor. They have the first opportunity to refer their clients and prospects to this. However, I may have a workaround. Are you currently locked into your closing providers, or do you have a little bit of flexibility there? And this is important for you guys to know, because I want you to know how we're communicating to these folks. If they say, I've got some flexibility, we say, well, great. If you're willing to pre-open your listing with the sponsors, I can get you on. And they say, yeah, I do want to. We're starting to get people say, yeah, why not? Of course, sure. I understand how it works. Great. And then Thomas simply does an introduction via email to our branch manager. Right? So that is the conversation that we're currently having. The takeaway here is, honestly, for your business and for this platform, don't waste your time on non-producers. If some of you work with people that are super heavy on the buy side, they're not going to be able to direct us to escrow, but that's okay because of the value that holds to Cornerstone and you guys in particular. So we will weight that accordingly. I want to help you guys out, and so let us know. We don't pull buy-side production. I've got access to the MTA, and to the MLS, so I will pull everybody. But if you say, hey, Brett, so-and-so, or Thomas, so-and-so, actually, if you email me, I'm just going to have Thomas handle it. So shortcut it, go to Thomas. I'm happy to converse with all of you guys at any time if necessary, but I want to let you know that's going to be the best resource.
Yes, Thomas' email.
T Worden, T-W-O-R, and it's in that email that you sent out.
Okay, cool.
It's been included there. T Worden, T-W-O-R-D-E-N @realtalksandiego.com.
And I'll put it in the notes that we
From
sent
today's
out.
meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll resend that email and then include that as well. So, because that's really the question I have is, how do we make sure, we have that agent, it's a good buy-side agent, or it's a really good relationship opportunity for us. But obviously, it's listed live, so they have to have a listing,
Sure.
To get in there. So, and most agents do a little bit of both, at least. How do we make sure that we can get that extra love from the Cornerstone referred, agents?
You're going to want to make sure, and there's a question in here. It is a required field. The referred by field when they register is required. So remember that just about every time somebody puts a listing on, they're going to get an email from us. what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll cross-reference everybody that we've emailed in the previous 2 weeks. So if somebody got a listing last week and they got an email and they get a new listing this week, we will not email them again on the new listing. And there are a couple of things in there that we've got to update, but by and large, we want to really tighten it down. We don't want to be spamming people. Yeah. We want to honor the fact that somebody says, I'm not interested. We'll put them on the, the do not contact list. So even if we load their listing up, the email won't hit them. So we do honor that. Some will slip through have slipped through the cracks just because we're building on the back end. But it's important for you guys to understand how we manage this so you can set the expectations properly. Again, a double-digit listing type producer, we're going to get them up pretty much every time.
What are you sending the emails out again?
Tuesdays and Fridays. So Tuesdays are the listings that are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then on Fridays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So that's your marketing email. That's how your communication is back to agents that have requested, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So right. The new listing emails go out on Tuesdays and Fridays.
So let's talk about all right, I'm Rick, and I have, an agent that I really want to get on. The agent really wants to get on. It's a good relationship for me. I tell them, make sure you put in the referred by Rick with Cornerstone, right? And then what happens?
Okay, so first off, assuming that they're pulling their data, and this is somebody that A, does enough on the listing side, or B, does a lot on the buy side, and you send in a special request directly to Thomas afterwards. Hey, so-and-so comes in, can we please try and get them on? Right? Those of you that are sending the escrows will get to get on every time. Laugh, but not entirely. No, seriously. Guess what? Well, no. I mean, Sean Cahan, he sends me 100% of his escrows. Blair hit me up the other day. Hey, can we get so-and-so on? He's very heavy on the buy side, not a lot on the listing side. He's going to be on.
Yeah, it should be said. Yeah, Brent and his company are based to do this. The only thing we're adding is we're doing a little bit of marketing for them. Talking to agents for them, and we provide the hosts. But the cost that's associated with producing this is being borne by them. So they're going to have to do whatever makes the most financial.
Exactly. So we're using this to build it, but we want to partner with all of you guys. We've got agent relationships we want you guys to tap into, and vice versa. But I understand. Listen, especially with rates and everything else, you can only do so. There's not a lot of refi business right now. So do what you can. That's all I'm asking you. Do what you can. But I want to, I'm working very closely with Sean and Derek to grow this entire. I mean, you guys are the only lender I'm working with. I'm helping them recruit too. Both agents as well as loan officers. So I'm committed to growing this company. All right. Is there any advantage to them putting our name in Cornerstone when they register? Yes. And you want to do that every single time. Here's what's happening. We're doing so much marketing, we're not even having to call. We're just selecting based upon submissions, right? But for everybody that submits, there are 5 more that we email that don't submit. That's where you guys come in. That's where if you guys are tracking, listing activity and all of that, knowing that, hey, so-and-so just got a new listing, you're going to want to call them, hey, have you heard about List It Live? This is a great way. Or next time, as soon as if you want to pre-market or do a coming soon, this is a great platform to do that. Because ultimately, this becomes a tool for an agent to impress their client who's selling the property with them and to use on a future listing presentation so they can win that business. So you want to make sure that they understand that this is a tool and you're the one that's helping deliver that to them. You're looking for a differentiator. You're looking for a way to provide value. Derek is big on calling frequently, and always having a reason to call. This is a reason for you guys all to call. Hey, have you heard about List It Live yet? Here's probably the best question you can ask that's going to get the most positive response. Are you looking to increase your social media presence? Are you looking to do more business through social media? Right? Leave that in a voicemail and say, if you are, I've got something amazing for you that I want to show you. By the way, no cost, give me a call. Right? That right there is something, because we all know, and I would wager that the majority of you probably are of the mindset, I need to be doing more on social media, but I'm not exactly sure how to spin out enough content. It's not, here's the rates today, here's the market update, here's that. So we're always looking for a way to differentiate and create contact. So in the same way that all of you are probably looking to do that, agents are starving for it. So this is a way for you to deliver that value and a solution to them. What are we saying about the show? Are they registering another? Okay, let me get to, okay, next question. What is the chance of them getting on the show, the percentage of the people that registered versus getting on the show? So right now, we're probably, if we're getting 80 per week and we're having 12 on the show, we're probably hovering somewhere in the 10 to 15% range, actually get on from those who register. And again, a lot of that is driven by the production. What are the agents saying about the show? They absolutely love it. We do an exit interview, and before we even ask, most of them say, can I do this for all of my listings? We are now starting to get referral emails and calls from colleagues of agents who have been on saying, hey, I've got a new listing. Can I get on the show? Arlene loved it. Can I get this on the show?
Arlene, seriously.
Yeah.
So what about, so the conversion rate for people who are registering, but those are usually for like the next show. So is it more likely if someone says, you have a listing coming up in 3 weeks, they can pre-register and say, hey, I want to be on the show 3 weeks from now. Is that helpful in getting a seat?
It's absolutely helpful for a couple of reasons. One, it's something that they can use as a tool for them. Talking to their clients about how they can pre-market provides a lot of value to the client. It provides a lot of value to them. It's a new tool for them to pre-market a property. What Derek and I want to do as we grow this platform is we really want to tap into the buyer market. And here's where we can add and layer on additional value to the agents. If we're effective in giving, ideally I would like this to be 50% or so of the listings we show are not yet on the MLS. Because we're in a very low inventory environment, as you all know. And if we can get the word out to those likely to buy, those looking for properties, and we can have agents start to tell all of their buyers, hey, listen, here is a resource to see properties that are not yet on the MLS. That gives us an opportunity to grow that base of potential buyers, which for an agent is very attractive because it gives them an opportunity to potentially double end or pick up a client that they can represent on another property. So that's where we want to grow this. So to answer your question, Derek, and those are the reasons why, we absolutely would love to start filling the pipeline with coming soons, not yet on the MLS.
I think that would be the best suggestion, for talking to agents is, hey, you've got, because agents always have listings coming up. I'm going to list this property over here. I've talked to them. They want to do it. We're going to start getting it ready in a couple of weeks. And then a couple of weeks later, we're ready to list it. That's a good time to go ahead and submit and say, hey, I want to be on the show 4 weeks from now. Because there's not as much of a log jam in the show 4 weeks from now. It's the next show that's always going to be a log jam because that's what you're mailing for that.
Right.
The email is going for the next show. So if you can just go out to the following show or the following couple shows, there's no line there. So it's a lot easier to get.
The criteria still applies.
Right.
Correct.
The criteria is still going to apply, right? Because
they won't know whether they're going to do that or not. The other question I have related to that, and obviously this isn't the case, is they don't have to have their pictures and all that stuff when they actually submit, correct?
No, but they do need to prior to the show.
Right.
They do. We build out the property decks on the Monday prior to the Thursday show. So we need to have their photos before noon on Monday in order to build out the property decks. What are the agents saying about the show? Are they registering another property after they've been on once or twice? Yes. A lot of them are trying to get back on. We use this as a tool to, and right now the process, and some have gotten on, we just haven't had the ability to follow up with all of them. But what our objective is, if somebody comes on once, we say, is this something you want to do for all of your future listings, and tap into the entire Real Talk Media, Smarter San Diego, Win This Listing, that entire ecosystem that can help you create referral partnerships, create content, branding, and. Are you interested in learning more about that? They say yes. We meet with them. we show them how if they support the sponsors, they can have this all available to them, all at no cost. So when it's very easy for us to, if you bring somebody to us, we can adjust that conversation and we can have that conversation together to make sure that, you know, you as the one who is sourcing them is going to be the beneficiary of that business relationship. But yes, to answer the question, whoever wrote this down is they all want to come back on, and they are all registering properties after the fact.
So I'm just looking at the registration page. It doesn't say anything on the registration page about what date. Should we add that? Maybe in there? Maybe a drop down for which day or when do you think the property ready or something like that? Like I'm just trying to figure out. So from our standpoint, if we're telling someone, hey, register the property, we know it won't be ready for a few weeks, but register it for them because it's going to be a shorter line to get in and much more likely you'll get on the show. How are you guys getting? You know?
So Thomas talks to everybody.
Okay.
That he emails and has a conversation with everybody. Okay. And so, and I want that
Everybody coming on, not all 80.
what's that?
Just everybody coming on, not all 80.
We are it's not all 80 right now, but it is going. So all 80 are getting an email response, and we are setting up. I want him talking to everybody. You know, I don't want anybody to feel like they've been slighted. I want them to understand the rules of engagement. I want them to understand that we're a professional organization. We appreciate the fact that they took time out to register the property. So I want to touch as many agents as we possibly can in every manner that because tomorrow's top 50 is today's, low producer, so we understand that, there are shooting stars that are just getting started in the space. So if I pull their production and it says 1 or 2, I don't want to jeopardize them when that's 25, 2 or 3 years from now. Yeah. The other thing that's also important is a lot of people work on teams, so a lot of those, right. And that's where you understanding and knowing these relationships. I had somebody just yesterday submit a property poll that it's like 2 buy sides. This is their only listing they've done in the last year. The person that referred them says, oh no, they work on the such and such team and most of the listings go into their name. So that information, you're going to want to share that with Thomas. So understand there's a lot of gray area there because we can only pull black and white data. So you guys are the ones with your relationships. And this is where the title teams, they know it like you wouldn't believe. It's crazy what they know.
Also, should we mention that we are working on scaling this thing, so it won't just be 12 spots forever. We have to streamline the process. Literally, it's very labor intensive to put this show together, but we are working on making it more seamless so that we can scale it to more days, accommodate more people. So I do believe that this is a temporary bottleneck in the process for this show. It's clear. The thing that's very clear is that real estate agents like it. They want to do it again. They want to keep doing it over and over. I mean, we've had John Lieber on 5 or 6 times, almost every single show. Every listing he gets, I want to do that.
Because he fits in category 1.
He does fit in category 1.
He fits in category 1. In fact, and he's the trifecta because he works with Cornerstone, First American, and 5-Star.
Yes.
Guess what? Front of the line every time, John.
Yep. Here you go. You got a private one. There you go. So we are working on expanding, but we can't expand until operations are smoother, right? More streamlined. If we expand with unstreamlined operations, it'll be just a bigger mess. So we are working on that. So I want to make sure everyone knows it's not going to just be 12 properties a week forever. We plan on doing 2 or 3 different shows a week so we can accommodate more of the demand to the marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the way, the real estate cycle, what happens, a lot of agents work on weekends, a lot of agents can do listings on weekends. So to be able to do something like have a Tuesday-Thursday split, I don't like having to select, a property on a Friday knowing that we've got, it's going to be 7 days later before they get on. A lot can happen in those 7 days. So, I want somebody who's super excited about a brand new listing they just got and be able to come on, a show within a couple of days, as opposed to having to wait that long. And so whether we initially we do 2 hours, do 2 1-hour shows consecutively, or skip an hour because of, what we need to do in the studio. Open up the second day. Listen, if there are that many real estate agents that want to come and see us and be in our presence for an hour plus, we want to make as many of those hours available as we possibly can.
So, end goal, trying to reach more buyers, correct? That's one of the major goals, is trying to reach more buyers.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
the show's designed for buyers.
So what I'm thinking is that, like, maybe you do it geographically, South County, North County, or coastal inland. Just
Derek, what do you know? Derek brought that exact same thing up.
Derek told me that stuff.
Well, whoever stole it from whom, it's a great idea, and it makes a lot of sense.
We have listed live, be very tied in with caravans and things like that. There's a whole bunch of things we're going to do from that standpoint.
It'll all be in our list of lives on the same page, but we would have the East County edition, the North County Coastal edition, the Central, the Downtown, the South Bay, major areas like that, because when somebody's looking for a house or agents, they may focus on one community, but typically they'll expand out into adjacent communities. So something like that, we've got room for probably 6 to 8 of those major areas in and of itself. So there's a lot of growth to be had here. And mostly it's going to just depend on infrastructure and personnel to be able to manage it. We're big paperless, automated, digital people, and we want to be able to take advantage of technology, but it takes time to build that infrastructure. Last piece before I open this up to any Q&A, if there are any questions, is how you guys want to navigate this entire thing. So in terms of introducing it, if they are unfamiliar, if they've just heard of it, I would recommend send them to, you'll see it on the List It Live Facebook page, there is one that's called videos. Every single, so we'll put up the full show each week. We'll break it down into individual video segments. So what happens is, we do the show on Thursday. By Thursday afternoon, Jade, Derek's editor, he cuts up all of the entire show into individual segments, puts a nice opening graphic on there, and we post those on our Facebook page. And then we tag the agent in it, and we share it to their page. And then I think on Fridays, we're doing this now, we send out a link to the actual source video. Here's what we've learned. We have learned that very few agents themselves upload the source video to Facebook. That is to their detriment, because their video will be prioritized in Facebook's algorithms, and more of their friends, family, colleagues, clients, what have you, likers, whatever you want to call them, their fans will see that if they upload the source video. This is where you can step in and help advise them on best practices. We do this as well, but if you've got a relationship, you want this coming from you. That's one thing. Follow and track all of every week you're going to know who's going to be on. If you have any kind of a relationship with them at all, engage, share their video. Tell them great job. Don't ask for business, just give them props, right? And that leads me to my next piece, which is coming to the studio and the studio etiquette. All right, and I'm sharing. And again, remember, we've done this the wrong ways for a lot of times. So I want to save you guys the heartache and how we do this. Everything we do is predicated on the pay it forward philosophy, which means you guys are familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk. He wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook, which means value, 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 give, and ask at the appropriate time. We're all salespeople, and we also can get very anxious, especially if we're finally in front of that one person that we've been trying to get in front of. And I will tell you that 100 out of 100 times, if you try that ask at the studio, you're not going to get the business and probably turn them off the relationship. This is delivering value with a purpose of creating a relationship. I talk about Real Talk San Diego. Our entire media platform, List It Live, is a tool to create new or enhance existing business relationships. And what that means is the operative word always has to be relationship. We can condense the time that it takes to build that trusty relationship based upon giving value first. Knowing that your competitors are not going to be able to call me and say, hey, Brent, can I get so-and-so on? That's not going to be available to them. So you just continue working on that relationship. So when you're there at the studio, you're not asking for business. You're just telling them what a great job they did. If anything, when you escort them out, and I would highly recommend it, if you bring them, you refer them to the studio, walk in, sit with them during their segment, walk out with them, chat it up with them. It's not a time to go and try to grab business cards from all the other agents that are there.
Yeah.
Focus on, I've seen it all. It's a time to foster that relationship and just talk about them and their business, what's important to them. How are you going to leverage this on social media? Did you have a good time? Is this something you're going to want to do in the future? Blah, blah, blah. Walk them out. Here's your closing line that day. Other than getting you back on List It Live or one of the other programs, is there anything else I can do to help support your business? And then shut up. See what they say. Oftentimes it's going to be, no, you've been great. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Cool. Leave it at that. Awesome. We'll stay in touch. And you find a way to drip on it and just continue to add value. This can be a tool for you to continue to do that. So I just want to be clear about the etiquette there. It's so easy. Realtors, I've had the same conversations with title reps. They're like, oh my God, look at all these realtors. I've got a captive audience. And they want to go after them. Yeah, it really is. And so we want the word on the street and the real estate community to be, it was safe to go there. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't running through the vendor gauntlet. Yeah. We don't want them to feel that way. All right. So I would like for you all, as you take a look at who's going to be on, you may see somebody on there who's an existing client. Hit up Thomas and say, hey, so-and-so is a client of mine, even though we brought them in, I work with them. Would it be all right if I came to the studio? We need to know, the studio is small and it can very easily get overcrowded. And we've had a couple times it's gotten overcrowded, agents want to scare, they can't get out of there fast enough, right? So we want to make sure that there is a relationship that is pre-existing in order for you to come there. And if that means if you get 10% of their business, that's a pre-existing relationship. You're trying to increase your capture rate. That's fine. Just give us the backstory on who that's going to be, and we'll accommodate as necessary. We don't ever want to get it to a point where we've got, a gatekeeper at the registration desk saying, all right, you're not on the list. You can't, we don't want to do that. We want you guys to have as much opportunity as possible. If there's somebody else where you say, hey, listen, I've been trying to go after so-and-so's business, they'll at least take my calls. I've gone out to call. I haven't gotten anything yet, but I'd really like an opportunity to get in front of them. Yeah, we're going to want to have you come in. That's fine. And that's just something that's like, you can be there kind of helping us with things, chopping it up with them a little bit. That's fine. We want to make that available to you. So just work through Thomas and all that, because we, at the end of the day, we've already started to create a lot of chatter, and the show itself has gotten a great reputation. Agents are wanting to come back on, and we just want to perpetuate that. And so I think that we'll all be the beneficiaries of additional business if we do it that way.
Can I add on to that?
Yeah.
So I get the list from comments every Monday, and I'm then sending it out to people to see if any of their agents are on it. So if you have agents that's registered, come to me so that I can then tell comments, because I'm also putting together an open house kit.
You shouldn't have, with those links, Jordan, you shouldn't have to do that anymore. You shouldn't even need to send that to you anymore.
Okay, I didn't even hear the first part of the meeting.
Okay, so yeah, that email, and if you don't have it, in fact, I can send it to you right now. There are links that you can go on and see. So you'll be able to go on and see everybody who's scheduled for Thursday. On Tuesdays, it's fully updated.
Okay, perfect.
So you'll see that, and
So
then
then if you guys see somebody that's on there, let me know so I can put your information in the open house kit that we're giving out to them.
perfect. All right, that's great.
Okay.
And we're talking with you guys about, I talked with Blair about having us better, we're switching up kind of our in-studio routine. We don't want so much the exit interview, the way we've been doing it with Thomas. You know, we're going to handle most of that legwork, you know, before they get to the exit door. We want the last stop to be with the Cornerstone Group. So if you've got an agent there, you're going to want to post up with Blair and or Jordan with the home or with the open house survival kit, especially if you've got one designated for a certain agent. You want to be the one to deliver that to them. So that's going to make the process for you guys much more streamlined on the way out. You know, we're going to arm them up. Hey, listen, you want to be on Listed Live again? You want to be one of the Real Talk real estate partners, win this listing, Real Talk San Diego. Here's a nice information packet that's got all of that. And go ahead and see Jordan, Blair, or whoever's there on the way out to get your open house survival kit. You know, so I'm going to be doing kind of what Claire was doing in the beginning, introducing everybody, talking about the sponsors, thanking Cornerstone, making sure you guys are very prominently acknowledged for being there. Be sure to get your open house survival kit from them on the way out. It's amazing. So we're working on streamlining the heck out of that process, but this is going to give you guys a little bit more access.
Great.
Any questions that may have come in?
Just one quick question. So like I'm working on getting a couple of presentations that you were talking about with a couple offices right now. If I do that, it would be nice to be able to go in there and say, just for that group of people that I could say, you will be on the show. Would you work with me on that, like sort of thing?
Well, I can't. I don't want to broadcast something in front of an office of, you know, and think everybody who's
more intimate than that.
Well, right. Well, no. What I say, I don't. I hate guaranteeing because then inevitably we could disappoint. I can do what I did yesterday, which was so I presented in front of. Yeah, I presented in front of, you know, that group in Encinitas, and I never mentioned anything about escrow sponsorship or anything else, but I was there as a guest of First American. So I said, here's how you register, but be sure that if you're going to register a property, you put one of the First American reps' names that are here today in there because they're our sponsor. So you're going to get preferential treatment if you do that. So that's what I would have a similar message. And if it's a big office or whatever, I'm happy to go down there and do it with you, and I'll edify the heck on you. And say Cornerstone is, you know, an amazing partner of ours. We don't do this with any other lenders, and I would say the exact same thing in front of that group for you.
Is it possible to get like 2 or 3 spots every week for like our people, so we know, like, and we can coordinate, like if Rick has someone going or Andrew Paul has someone going, we know that we can at least get 2 or 3 Cornerstone referred people on there, or is that kind of not?
That would be very difficult. I'll just answer from our standpoint, because then who gets that? There's 2 or 3 spots. We have 50 loan officers. You know what I mean? So, so that would be a very complicated thing to try to do. And really, we're not at a point yet where I think we could justify that. I think it's great that we at this point have the gift of exclusivity on this show. But we haven't done enough give back yet to really be able to even say, hey, can you carve us out a piece of this pie, more so than we already have. So I think it's too soon to go that route. When there's more inventory, we can talk about different things, you know, setting up different ways to, you know, organize it. But as it stands today, it's 12 a week.
I'd like to find a way to make that work. I'd like to scale it to a way that we can make that work, and that's our goal. That would be great to get to. You know, to where it makes sense in terms of the sponsors that are bearing the cost. Does it financially make sense for them to do that? And if it does, all day long. I mean, it would be great to have a show that was, you know, a 1-hour block that was dedicated exclusively to Cornerstone clients. We could get there. That could be done at some point. Yeah.
So
we'll get possibility.
It's a little too soon.
I didn't get the first half of what we were talking about, but that was just based off of something that came up in conversation between those conversations I've been having with loan officers too, of like they're not paying any of their agents. Well, right. So I'm sure we got that.
Yeah, and we covered all of those things I think in the first portion of the meeting. So I think everybody understands the rules of engagement right now, where to go to get information. You know, all of the things that, you know, it was very mysterious in the beginning, first month and a half, and so we built all these systems to give you guys that transparency.
And I'm resending those links to everyone right now. I have a draft already queued up, so I'm gonna take a picture of this, and I'll leave it for everyone who's here in Mission Valley. You can look through this. This is the First American roster. I'll take a picture of this and include that in the email that's going to go out as well in the recap from today. today's resources.
And what I'll do is I will email the entire First American database, all the reps, to kind of let them know what we all discussed here today. So they could, just let them know that you guys are, I'll say, many of you are interested in partnering with them in their territories and, doing lead and referral exchanges to try to build each other's businesses. So I'll put them on notice and that would not be a way. I mean, it's been huge what they've been delivering to us already.
In case you don't know, the title business works. The reps don't have to, I say this, no one from First American's on this call, they don't have to do any work. So like the difference between a loan officer, you have to go prospect an agent, get a deal, and then you have to get the deal done. You have to go in and work the deal and figure it out and do all that stuff. The title rep, the title rep goes, write me an order, and then they have people in the office who do the title search and do all, they don't have to do any of that. So this is the reason why they are so ingrained in what's going on. Literally, the only thing they have to do is just go hunt realtors. That's it. So they know all the gossip. They have tons of time on their hands to meet with you and hey, how can we attack agents? I mean, that's literally the only thing they think about. They don't have to do the back end at all. So in case it didn't make sense, well, why would these people know more realtors than me, or why would they have more access to me? They have one-track mind, and most of them have been doing it for a long time. Like you don't find very many new title reps, especially First American. They're all seasoned. They've been in this game for a long time. They've been in their territory for a long time. They really know what's going on. So that's the reason, just in case it didn't connect there. Any other questions for Brett?
Yes.
So aside from Listed Live, we've been pitching this video for headshots and personal videos. How do we go about setting that up?
That would be through Derek. That's all through Derek.
That's just very simple. If you have someone who wants to make videos, do headshots, discuss marketing, just connect with me and we'll schedule it. It's really that simple. If they have a really big project, it may cost money, but it's like pennies on the dollar. Like we had somebody who wanted to do really in-depth, crazy project, and we charged them $200. It probably would have cost $2,000 if they got anywhere else. So in some cases, we have to charge if we have a hard cost for certain things. But like headshots, we can hook that up. Someone wants to make a 1-minute green screen video to blast out to their database. Yeah, I just switched companies or whatever. We can make that happen. A lot of stuff like that we would normally charge $150 or $200 for, which is still a really good deal. We just do it. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are doing. I just moved over to EXP. Come find out why the water's so warm. A lot of those videos we're doing right now.
I will share while we're on the EXP thing. I will share with you one of the things that I've been doing. I can't wait to talk to you after our meeting here today to give you some details of what I'm going to share with them. So I've identified some of the biggest players in the industry that have made the move to EXP, and we all know that their number one focus is recruiting. So I've simply been reaching out and say, I understand you moved to EXP. I have a way and a platform for you to recruit realtors at scale. Are you interested in having a conversation about that? And it's a 2-second turn on. Yes, when can we talk? And big hitters. People I've never gotten a response from before, or been able to set a meeting with, are now saying, heck yes, let's talk. So if you think about it, when we're getting 80 people submitting properties and 12 people in the studio, and I can double, triple, and quadruple that overnight, if somebody's doing a ton of business, that's a way to get their attention. They're moving to EXP. Because it is straight land grab. The scarcity and fear of loss that is permeating throughout the real estate industry is crazy right now. Compass and EXP are going to completely disrupt San Diego real estate market. Those two companies. I went to the Encinitas one. So many of the top players up in North County Coastal are moving to Compass as well.
True story, which is why we're doing the EXP debate. Just a quick reminder, Tuesday, 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. And if you want to be a part of the studio audience, send me an email ASAP. There won't be very many seats. So, as you know, the studio's small. Maybe have 20 seats total. 2 participants are Bobby Martins and Sam Karamian. They each get up to a total of 5 people for their entourage in studio. Whether they take advantage of that or not, I don't know. But the seating is very limited, basically. So if you want to be a part of it, let me know. And if you have further questions regarding this, I'm sending you the information, links for Listed Live, the contact, Mr. Listed Live, Tom Warden's email address. He's super responsive, really cool dude. If you haven't met him in the studio yet, he's all over this. I mean, he owns this. He's all over it. I mean, he is a phone banger. The guy will call anyone. He's awesome. He's the type of person you want to be a part of. Yes.
We make a phone burner script for the Listed Live conversation.
Yes. Yes, very easily. In fact, we already have it. Yeah, we already have it. Yeah, he's already using it, Thomas. So, yes, we can definitely do that phone burner script for Listed Live upcoming. I'm going to send that email out right now. Brett, thank you so much for coming today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
I have one more quick thing. If Daniel has been contacting you about your Google Voice number, I need those ASAP. So if you need help setting it up, come see me now.
Okay, come see Jordan if you need help getting your Google Voice set up. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you in 2 weeks, where we're going to have a really, really special guest 2 weeks from today. See you then.